You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and on the line we have DC chiming in. What's going on, my friend?
Yo, ain't nothing too much, man. Just trying to enjoy this beautiful day, the same way the Saints is over there in San Diego.
Oh yeah, San Diego, beautiful place. And this is podcast 218 on the podcast. That's right, 218 on the Saints podcast. And in this podcast, the Saints versus the Chargers joint practice that's going on as we speak. We'll have the breakdown on yesterday's joint practice, and of course, we'll talk about that today. On the show, we'll have some interviews from Drew Brees. He chimed in. We'll have something by Sean Payton, see what old Coach Payton got to say. And then, of course, we'll have our Who Dat Is segment, where we'll feature one offense and one defensive person. Today's group of people, offensive lineman Andrew Tiller. Of course, you know we are big fans of Andrew Tiller, but we're going to shine the spotlight on Andrew Tiller on the show today and tell you, if you don't know who Tiller is, we're going to break him down for you today. And the other one for the defense is, of course, defensive lineman and true football player and superhero Mitch Loewen.
Superhero?
The same man that supermanishly lift the car to save a pedestrian. So big ups to Mitch Loewen. We're going to talk about him on the show today as well. Without further ado, we always thank all the new subscribers, always constantly get new subscribers, and of course our established family of listeners and viewers as well. Thank you guys. You are the true cream of the crop, and we feel honored to be in you guys' presence. So without further ado, let's get right into podcast 218 on the Sports Coma, starting with the Saints joint practice that happened yesterday. The Saints and the Chargers, they completed 2.5 hours on Wednesday of the joint practices. Of course, Coach Sean Payton described the practices at Jamit Sports Training Complex as some real good work. He also gave a lot of credit to Coach Anthony Lynn, who a lot of people didn't think would have that Charger team competitive. So that's a hell of a coach as well. And of course, Jeff Richards got in Michael Thomas' face after Michael Thomas gave him a really good stiff arm, by the way. He ain't like how Michael Thomas put that stiff arm on him, and Mike Thomas told him that he was just telling me about it. Of course, Mark Ingram and Adrian Phillips had a heat exchange between the two during team drills. As the safety wrapped up Ingram and tried to strip the ball away, Mark didn't like that. And of course, Marshawn Lattimore was quoted as saying that we ain't backing down from nobody. We coming, they want to bring it, we gonna bring it. That's the type of attitude winners have. Of course, pace of the play was really interesting too. The Saints' first team offense had their attention. The Chargers coaching staff, after the first snap of team drills, Charger defensive line coach Giff Smith, he yelled orders about tempo, keeping up with the tempo. You know, the Saints are a fast offensive team and a fast defensive team. They play with pace that a lot of other teams can't keep up with, and he was, of course, conveying that message. Coach Payton also said that you're trying to put yourself in a game-like situation. We worked with these guys before, and it was a real good tempo. Of course, the Chargers, it's good to see the black and gold go against somebody else besides their own. It kind of removes the monotony of camp. Other things that noteworthy things to mention, of course, Will Clapp. A lot of people like the little joke I made about Will Clapp. I ain't gonna say it no more, but he saw some work with the first team on the offensive pace of Andrews Pete, who's still on a pitch count, as it were, as he get ready to come back.
Well, Clapp the sixth man.
He looks more comfortable and starting to gain confidence as camp progresses. A good example of this is they saying that the light bulb came on somewhere during the middle of the camp. Now, obviously, the reason why Will Clapp is excelling is because between Saints practices, he'll fly out to Massachusetts, and he attended school at MIT. And that is why he's so smart to be able to master all of these things faster than what Andrus was able to do because of his involvement with the MIT. That's of course a little satire, by the way. But
I don't think it hurt he played in the SEC either. I think that might have.
That's right too. That's true. Very, very true. Now, of course, Will Clapp is a brother Martin alum. Most people that's not from there at his high school. Right, it's hometown guy right in the center of the city. LSU, then of course New Orleans. Man, you can't get any better story than a football player than Will Clapp.
Right.
Grew up in New Orleans, went to Brother Martin, a really prestigious football school within the city. Went to LSU, the best. A lot of colleges going to be mad at me, but the best football program in the state. Then gets drafted, not undrafted, but gets drafted by the professional team of the state, the Saints. You can't script that any better than Will Clapp. So I guess New Orleans did get the clap from Will Clapp. Breeze Mania alive. Breeze Mania. Breeze is still very popular in Southern California. Beautiful place. He has a home there in the off season that he go, and people just love Drew Brees to death. And why shouldn't you? Because he's a winner. He's a winner at football. He's a winner at life. He's a winner at business. Everything Drew Brees is doing, he's a winner at it.
He's a winner at being competitive. It's probably one of the most competitive guys on that team.
That's very true. And the team wears that badge of honor on his chest. He's the leader of the team. His competitive.
He probably is trying to win to be the first in the lunch line, the first person to go to the bat. Drew Brees won't win at
everything. That's right. Then, of course, there was some other interesting things on Wednesday's practice. Of course, Keenan Allen, who is a fabulous wide receiver. He really came out of his shell last year. I had that guy on my fantasy league, and I did really well with him, by the way. The Pro Bowl wide receiver had a couple of big catches on Marshawn Lattimore. He also had some big catches on Patrick Robinson as well. Of course, they didn't make mention of Ken Crawley, but I'm pretty sure if he beat Marshawn Lattimore and Patrick Robinson, definitely that goes without saying, he's gonna wax Ken Crawley. Matter of fact, I seen a picture with Ken Crawley falling down, Keenan Allen making the catch. So hey, Lattimore say he's a great receiver after going against him this year and last year. I have great respect for him, and he's one of the top receivers in the league. Of course, a few surprises to make mention of in the Saints versus the Chargers joint scrimmage was, of course, the presence of Alex Okafor, who a lot of people, as myself included, thought that they were going to shut him down, not allow him to play in the game. He suffered a real serious looking injury, which turned out to be not so serious, just bone bruise in the knee and a sprained ankle, but he was back at practice on a limited basis, showing really positive signs. He was also wearing a brace on his leg during the joint practice. Also, other highlights to make mention of during this joint practice was, of course, Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram both had nice games during the rushing portion of the team drills. Jonathan Williams scored on the 13 yards out and inside the zone during red zone drills. Marcus Williams and Pat Robinson each had interceptions on Rivers during team drills. Big up to them. Desmond King, which was a fantastic kick returner last year for the Chargers, and he's going to be a pretty good cornerback. He picked off Drew for a pick six in the 2-minute portion of team drills. Then a few plays later, Melvin Ingram, a defensive end, he beat Ryan Ramczyk, caused a strip sack of Drew Brees. Scooped it up for a score. So Chargers receiver, also Chargers wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin, used to be of Carolina, used to be of Buffalo, had a nice catch and run for a touchdown during team drills as well. Probably beat Ken Crawley. Also, a little side news of guys that didn't participate in camp that were out for this particular day. I'm just say who, man. I butchered his name enough. PJ Williams wasn't there. Again, that's very curious for PJ, with just supposed to be a chest bruise. Really interesting. He needs to be out there. Arthur Millette wasn't there. Keith Kirkwood was out. And, of course, Okafor, we spoke about just a moment ago, was very limited in the practice as well. Now, of course, they had some stuff. Of course, the Chargers, knowing that the Saints practicing out in their domain, they were playing Drake in My Feelings over the public address system when the Saints team took the field. A lot of people say it was unintentional. But, of course, that was Alvin Kamara's song.
Is it just me or is Drake not a good artist for just like to hype you up for a football game?
I don't think so. It's a lot more the hype guys than Drake.
Right, like a Drake, Future, and all these other people. Yeah, I get it. It's energy music. But Drake is overly emotional and depressing sometimes.
Okay, you might have to apologize to some Drake fans. Happen to be Saints fans.
He's a good artist, man. He's good. His music is good. It's just I don't if I'm about to go play a basketball game or a football game, I'm not like,
right.
Oh man, let me put this Drake song on. Oh, the only song I want to put on is the one with Future. What, Jumpman? That might give you some energy.
And let's of course let's hear what Coach Sean Payton had to say about the joint practice. Of course, Coach Payton going to chime in. Let's hear what the coach had to say about the first scrimmage against the San Diego Chargers. Here's Coach Payton.
A couple things. Obviously, a lot of different situational work. We had 2-minute team run, move the ball. I thought it was real good work. A lot of film for us to study. Anytime you switch opponents like this, you get a whole new set of looks defensively, offensive formations, and I thought overall it went pretty well. Any questions?
That's Coach Payton chiming in on his quick thoughts on what he believed happened during this.
This is really quick thoughts.
Yeah,
huh?
very quick thoughts on Coach Payton. As I said, we don't. Very quick thoughts on Coach Payton. That's how I like him too. All this, let him have him. But Coach Payton, man, that's just like what we talked about from the previous couple of seasons during the Sports Coma, that Sean Payton, and basically what he's gonna say is like a script that he alters a little bit, changes from vanilla to off-white, from off-white to pearl white. It goes in between, even though they're different colors, but they look similarly. You see what I'm saying? That's pretty much what Sean Payton's a lot of his press conference on, unless he gets really animated because somebody does something dumb. That's when I really like to listen to him. Let's see what Drew Brees' quick commentary was for this game as well. Here's Drew.
Thought we played with good tempo. I thought we did some good things. We'll go look at the tape. I'm sure there's some things that'll stick out that we can improve upon. But it's always nice to change it up, kind of kick the competition up a little bit too. It's been a competitive camp for us, but at some point you get tired of going up against your own defense and own offense, day after day. So nice to come out here to Southern California, play against a really good team and a good coaching staff, a good scheme. It's good work for us, and hopefully there's a lot that we can learn from.
That's Drew Brees, folks, chiming in on his thoughts for that day heading out there in Southern California, playing football in Southern California, in SoCal. DC, that's football heaven, brother.
That is?
I would say so.
Football heaven was in Ohio.
Let's take Canton, the Hall of Fame, and move it to Southern California. Would that be a good idea?
I guess so, but wouldn't that kill Ohio's economy? Ain't nothing else around there.
Especially I guess that'd be too much to take from now that LeBron is gone. He's out. He's gone to California. Now you're going to take LeBron in Los Angeles, you mean to tell me, Q, you're going to remove the Pro Football Hall of Fame and put it in Southern California?
I heard somebody say Ohio is basically America's booty.
It's a little fella said that who later apologized for it.
The Ohio basketball.
Yeah, he better change that, because a lot of the Ohio spitters, and I ain't talking about the singers, will probably be talking to him real soon. But anyway, let's
maybe they got on.
We got to go into our first break here. When we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to have DC to break down his thoughts on the first day of joint practice between the Saints and the Chargers. And then, of course, we'll hit our Who That Is segment with offensive lineman Andrew Tiller on the offensive side. On the defensive side, we'll have defensive lineman Mitch Loewen. Information on them on the other side of the break. So stick with us. You're listening to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guys.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
What's up, Sports World? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics, and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace spray, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We're covering the Saints and Chargers joint practice day one. Of course, Wednesday's recap on the show. Of course, we recovered that the first segment. Now, before we get to our Who That Is segment, we're going to let DC chime in on his thoughts on the first joint practice. DC, you heard what Sean Payton and Drew Brees had to say before the break. What's your thoughts on this camp? Of course, we didn't even breach the subject about them arguing over the pitcher celebration in the end zone. Maybe you want to touch on that. What's your thoughts on that first joint practice between the two?
I love it because there is what you would look for, what a lot of people would say you shouldn't be looking for, but for teams to get into it, man, for it to be chippy, for them to start thinking, hey, we're in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? This is the enemy. Just that type of mind frame, that way of thinking, I think it creates a unity within the team, and it galvanizes the troops, if you want to use the war references, and for them to kind of gel together to be able to defeat a common opponent. And I think the fact that they aren't backing down and they're getting just as chippy with the other team, I think it's a beautiful thing, man. And I think that type of intensity raises the level of your practices. So the practices become more meaningful. The players are going to be more zoned in with the schemes and the different things they're supposed to do because they don't want to lose practice. I mean, it's different when you practice against your brothers, but when you're practicing against basically, another team, it's a raised level, and I think they're stepping up to the challenge. When they made a play, their whole defense got together and I think posed in a picture. Marshawn Lattimore spoke on it. He spoke on them not allowing them to forget, hey, we did that, and our defense would go back and make a couple of plays. And they posed like, hey, are we trying to do our thing? So I think these little battles within the battle of the team is a great thing. And I think it's creating a higher level of play among the players in practice and creating a unity within the team. Not that we weren't unified, but we're going to be that much more together.
Very good. I think you're absolutely right. I don't foresee any really major issues. I think both of these teams are very young teams that's looking for an opportunity to prove themselves. The Chargers was a team nobody really gave much of a chance last year. They were very competitive last year. The Saints, of course, almost got to the NFC Championship game if it wasn't for a ridiculous, horrible, stupid play that should never happen. So both of these teams have very high expectations. Both of them have really solid head coaches. Both of them have very solid quarterbacks. Hall of Fame Drew on one side, and Phillip Rivers more than likely going to end up going in the Hall of Fame down the line too. But outside of that, wide receivers, talent everywhere, all kind of stuff going on good for both these teams. Good to see them right now in a good atmosphere and broad in football. So we'll keep an eye out on it, and we'll keep following this. Of course, the Saints will be doing joint practices with the Chargers up until when the team meets with them.
It's a Saturday game. Yeah, I said Friday on the other show, but it's actually a Saturday game.
Okay, so they match up with them on Saturday, and it'll be interesting. Then, of course, the Saints still remain out there in California as they then do the same thing with the Los Angeles Rams. So they move from
looking forward to that one.
That's going to be huge to see Ndamukong Suh and all those other guys and all the great talent that's there.
They probably see him for one series, but still.
Yeah, probably. We're going to definitely see him somewhere in there. So, all that terrific talent on defense the Rams have, to see the Saints scrimmage against them and then get the game on later on that weekend with them. So A lot to be learned, and we'll keep an eye out here on the Sports Coma. Now let's go into our next topics, which is the Who Dat Is segment. Of course, that's usually when we'll feature one offensive player, one defensive player for you that you might have not known about. And we don't usually pick the high-profile guys. We pick the guys that's on the team that you probably don't know, so you can learn about these guys. Today's two guys, of course, is Andrew Tiller and Mitchell Loewen. We're going to start with the offense first. Offensive lineman Andrew Tiller, who's a 4-year offensive lineman, 6'4", 330-something pounds. He's 29 years old, out of the University of Syracuse. Now, of course, the 4th-year offensive lineman returns to New Orleans. He originally entered the NFL as a 6th-round selection by the Saints back in 2012. If you remember, they did pick up Tiller. And Tiller, after his first stop with the Saints, he had practiced squad stints with the Chargers, the Packers, and the Chiefs. He even appeared in 28 games with 14 starts for the 49ers. He has experience and versatility to play both guard positions along the line. And like we said, he's a terrific talent. Now, I'm a Saints man. We've been following the Saints. I don't know how long, it was 20, 30 something odd years, perhaps. I remember Andrew Tiller getting drafted, but it was such one of those drafts. It was from that 2012 draft. And we kind of counted Tiller out of it. The Saints he went out and got seasoned. Similar, I ain't going to say it's similar to what Patrick Robertson went. Of course, Patrick was a first-round draft pick who didn't thrive here. He had to go out there, gain experience, and then come back here to be a better player. So it works. Sometimes you have to do that. Andrew Tiller followed a similar path that Patrick Robertson did, as the Saints did bring him back to the fold. And he's been playing, by my account and by people who watch football, Andrew Tiller's been a solid lineman. You know, no one's really talking about him except for the guys at the Sports Coma and the people that listen to the Sports Coma. So big ups to you guys as well. Now, some more information on Tiller is the fact that he did sign a future reserve contract with the Saints early this year, January the 4th of this year. He spent the season 2017 with the Chiefs. In 2016, he appeared in 15 games with 7 starts at left guard and right guard for the Niners. In 2015, he played 12 games, 7 starts at left guard and right guard for the 49ers. In 2014, and appeared in 1 game, made his NFL regular season playing debut with the Niners back in December the 14th of 2013 against the Seahawks. He spent time on the Chargers and Packers practice squads. And in 2012, like we say, he was selected by the Saints in the 6th round out of Syracuse. Now, his college career, speaking of Syracuse, he's a Tiller letter for 3 years under former Saints offensive lineman and current Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. So you can see the Saints touch right there. He appeared in 35 games with 28 starts on the interior for a resurgent Syracuse program. In 2011, he redshirted his senior year. He started all 12 games at right guard and was an all Big East first-team selection. In 2008, junior college Redwire All-American, and he graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications and rhetorical studies. Here's a little background information on him. He prepped at Central Islip High School in New York, named 2006 New York State Writers Association All-State Class AA team, earned the 2006 Zellner Award presented to the most outstanding lineman in the county. He featured on an offense that averages 313 rushing yards per game. That, you know, of course, he's also a New York man. He's born in Queens, New York in 1989. So that's a little information about Andrew Tiller. Now, for people that don't know, a lot of people probably thought Andrew Tiller walked on the team as an undrafted guy. It looked like that. But of course, you do a little research, you find that the Saints had this man here originally, and they just bringing him on home. And he's been showing up. It was a good decision for him. And by my account, him and Clapp, and then you have Rick Leonard, those guys have been some of the best and more steady linemen through the first couple of preseason games up to this point through camp. That's interesting with Andrew Tiller. Now let's move on and get into Mitchell Loewen. Let's talk about Mitch Loewen here. Mitch Loewen. Mitch Loewen's about his incredible work ethic, his high motor. He doesn't stop. I remember it was a series of plays the previous game where Mitch Loewen was in there for 5 plays and didn't take a rest and were effective even when he was tired. That means you can't block a guy that's still coming at you with full strength even when he's tired. That's just insane. But that's what kind of person Mitchell Loewen is. 2 years worth of experience. He's 6'5", 275 pounds, 25 years old, out of the University of Arkansas. Now a little back information about him. After playing 5 different positions in college. That's right, you heard me. 5 different positions in college. Loewen signed with the Saints as an undrafted free agent out of Arkansas back in 2016 and settled in on the defensive line before the 2017 campaign was cut short in week 2 2. Then they shelved him. The second-year veteran will contribute to the young defensive front this year, vying for a roster spot. And by what he's doing so far, to me, I got him penciled in to make the team. Of course, he was placed on injury reserve by the Saints. In college, he started 36 games. He played over a 4-year career at the University of Arkansas, where he played 5 different positions, which was linebacker, tight end, fullback, tackle, defensive tackle, and defensive end. This guy was going to make it into the league any way possible. He recorded career totals of 31 tackles, including 3.5 of them for losses, 2 sacks, 2 pass defense. As a tight end, he caught 2 passes for 229 yards and a touchdown. Played in 10 games as a senior in 2015 and tallied 15 tackles, a half a sack. Moved from tight end to defensive end as a junior. Saw action in 9 games and tallied 14 tackles, 2 stops for a loss and a split sack. Appeared in 12 games and made 8 starts at tight end as a sophomore. Caught 2 passes for 29 yards and 1 touchdown and total 19 yards on the kickoff returns. He has a management major for college. A little background information on Mr. Mitch Loewen is that he was named the Maui Interscholastic League Defensive Player of the Year after his senior season in high school, in which he collected 140 tackles, 10 sacks, and 2 interceptions. His father, Chuck Loewen, played offensive lineman for the Chargers from 1980 to 84 after being drafted by the Chargers in the 7th round of 1980s draft. So we got NFL blood roots with Mitch Loewen through his father, Chuck. And of course, that probably gave him that non-stop do-or-die mentality. And that's what it takes for a guy that's willing to play 5 positions to get on an NFL team. Whatever, he's a utility man. Whatever Mitch Loewen, whatever you want Mitch Loewen to do, he's going to do it. That's what it's showing. And as you can see, he made the correct choice by becoming defensive tackle / defensive end, because he can do it all along that defensive line. So Mitch Loewen, man, that's some background information on both those players on the spotlight for both those men. DC, you got any thoughts on Mitch Loewen, Andrew?
I think Mitch Loewen, to me, is a guy that's going to actually make an impact on his team this year. And I'm just glad to see him back out there healthy, because we all knew last year, I mean, just imagine if he would be everything and live up to the potential we possibly think he could live up to here in Saints Nation. Last year, would we even had to draft Davenport? It's a curious question. So I think that highly of Mitch Loewen. He's very impressive. I don't see anybody being able to block him one-on-one. And he's a complete all-around football player, man. He can play any position on the line. Andrew Tiller, I got to go off your experience with that. That's your guy. Haven't honed in a lot, paid a lot of attention to him, but he's definitely been effective when he's been out there. So it'd be great for these guys to be known by everybody in Saints Nation. So there you go. That's who that is.
That's who that is. And you know who that is. And that'll be the show for today. So I'd like to thank everybody listening, both new and established listeners as well, for chiming in with us today. And as always, if you enjoyed the show, please feel free to go to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Make a donation. You can make a single donation of one time, or you can sign up and make a monthly donation, which will help build further the platform so we can continue to bring you really excellent Saint content, Pelican content, boxing content, and a number of other things that we are doing currently. So, and as always, feel free to join. If you're subscribed to us on Twitter, go join us on Facebook, Instagram, and the rest of those sites as well. Join the Twitter and Facebook page. We're constantly posting Saints articles and content on a daily basis, so it makes life a little bit more easier for you out there. So as always, thank you for listening to the Sports Coma today from me and DC. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.